What's going on, guys? We're back here in Maryland at our garage. So my truck is lacking a little bit of oil pressure. Lately I've been running around 90-95 pounds of oil pressure, and for some reason my gauge is down to 60. That could be two things. It could either be one, the oil is getting very thin and is watered down with alcohol, or two, it could be in the oil pump, which is down in the oil pan, and there's a spring in there that keeps the pressure, keeps the oil pressure up, and sometimes that spring can snap in half and then it loses some of its springiness. Also, we're going to take the oil filter off and check the oil filter. If it's not that, then we're going to take the oil pan off and check and see if that spring is broken in the oil pump. So let's go ahead. Well, I'm going to take the oil filter off, go from there. Okay, so right down here on the engine, on the block, there is a canister right there, and that is the oil filter. Take that off, take it apart, and see what the screen inside the filter is telling us, if there's any metal pieces in there. Drain the pan here. Now that is a 13/16 wrench right there. You see on the end of it, that's where the wrench goes, and you can pour loose. Oh yeah, oil's looking pretty milky. See, it's not as dark as it should be. That means there's alcohol in the oil. That's what makes it that milky color. Come on. Oh, just the oil pan. Took the filter apart. As you can see, it's a 3-piece filter, your big canister, your lid, and your filter. And this is a hard metal mesh screen. Like, I can squeeze that and I cannot squeeze it. The reason we run these, because if you try to run a stock oil filter like you get from AutoZone or something, it's just like a cardboard filter inside, and actually it creates so much oil pressure, and the power actually just sucks that oil filter shut, and it just completely gives you no oil pressure. We've experienced that as well. So that's why we run these heavy duty metal screen oil filters, and it's just a lot easier to tear it apart and check to see what issues you have or any metal in there. So what I'll do is I'll take a pick and then I'll look through to see if there's any metal that shouldn't be down in there. Sometimes you get your normal wear and tear metal in there, like your bearings, your main engine bearings, like on your connecting rods, you'll get a little bit of wear, like you get a little bit of metal shavings from those, but that's normal wear and tear over time. So we're gonna pick through this and I'll see if I find anything. But as I'm looking through this right now, I'm not really seeing anything out of the normal. Alright, so looking at the color of the oil, I'm going to go ahead and change the oil in the engine because it should be changed anyway. It has about 5 or 6 shows on it. And right here is the drain plug, right there on the back of the oil pan, or the front of the oil pan, because the engine's in backwards. So pull that off. That's for a 3/4 wrench, so grab a wrench and get her draining. And we're off. Zoom in there. Yeah, she's pretty milky, boys. Alright, so I just washed everything out in the parts washer, so I'm just going to give the air nozzle a good blow here with everything. Okay, so this thing is done draining. You can see how watery that is. It's not what you want, folks. It's not ideal. You can see the little puddle of alcohol right there. Also on the end of the drain plug here, there's a magnet to pick up any miscellaneous metals. Basically little micro shavings of metal. No wear and tear. This is what you'll get every time you pull the plug off your engine. Yeah. Okay guys, so we get 10 quarts of oil in the engine, and it is 50 weight racing oil. Alright, there you go. And one thing that confuses me is, why do you put motor oil in an engine? So confusing. So 10 quarts go in. I already put about 1/3 of this quart in the filter before I put the filter on. Right up here on top the valve cover is the oil fill. Take this out. There you go. Put that there so we don't lose it. And right in there. See the rocker arms right down in there. Okay, all 10 quarts are in the engine, including the one I cut up right there for the funnel. Let's see if this thing has any more oil pressure. About 90 pounds. Perfect. If anything, over time that spring will get weaker and it won't hold as much resistance, so sometimes that also can drop the oil pressure just a hair. So we're hovering right about 85, 90 pounds of oil pressure, and I'm good with that. Alright guys, so in the next video we are going to be patching a monster truck tire. Here's the patch. It's about as big as my head. I think it's bigger than my head. There's the hole. So we're going to take the wheel out of the tire, go in there, put this patch on, and fix this tire properly. Hit those notification bells, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.